My sister took my place at the wedding, and everyone played along. She wore my dress, walked down my aisle, married my fiancé. And no one stopped her, not even him. I always knew my sister wanted my life. But I never imagined she'd actually take it. It started the night before my wedding, the night. Everything was supposed to be perfect. The dress was steamed. The flowers were delivered. And I was hours away from marrying Josh, the man I'd loved for 4 years. My sister, Amber, was staying with me in the bridal suite. She smiled at me all evening, helped me pack my overnight bag, even painted my nails for me. But something in her eyes felt off. Like a spark that wasn't joy, but jealousy. "Are you nervous?" she asked. "A little," I said, "but more excited." She watched me carefully. "You know, I always wondered what it would be like." What would be like?" I asked. "To be you," she said softly, "even for a day." I laughed it off. "Trust me, you wouldn't want the stress." But she didn't laugh, she just smiled. I went to bed around midnight. Amber said she'd clean up and join me soon. But when I woke up the next morning, she was gone, and so was my wedding dress. I sat up in bed, confused, checked the bathroom, empty. I called her phone. No answer. Then I checked my garment rack, the dress, the veil, even my shoes. Gone. At first, I thought maybe she'd taken it to help me to get it steamed again, or fix something. But then the hotel front desk called. "Miss Green, your bridal car is here." "I didn't schedule it this early," I said. "Your sister said you wanted it moved up," they replied. I rushed down in my pajamas. The car was already leaving. I saw her in the back seat, wearing my dress, wearing my veil. Smiling. I stood frozen. My mouth wide open. She didn't even look back, just waved slightly through the glass. Then she was gone. I tried calling Josh. No answer. My heart started racing. I grabbed my purse, hailed a cab, and told the driver to St. Vincent's Church, fast. I didn't have makeup on, wasn't wearing shoes, but I didn't care. Needed to stop whatever this was. When I got to the church, I ran inside. The ceremony had just begun. Amber was already walking down the aisle. Arm in arm with my father, wearing my dress, holding my bouquet. My mother was crying in the front row. Josh stood at the altar. Smiling. I yelled his name, "Josh." He turned. Saw me. His face went pale. But he didn't move, didn't speak, didn't stop anything. People started whispering. Gasps. Confusion. But not one person got up. Not one person said a word. Not even my own mother. I ran down the aisle. Screaming. Double quote. "Are you doing? That's my dress. That's my wedding." Amber just smiled. And Josh, he just looked away. A man from the church came over, tried to pull me aside. "Miss, please, you're disrupting the ceremony." "I am the ceremony." I screamed. "I'm the bride." But no one believed me. Or maybe they just didn't care. They let her marry him, right there. In my place. I was escorted out of the church. By security. I sat on the steps, outside. Crying. Alone. Listening to the music play inside. Listening to them say my vows. I didn't go home that night. I booked a hotel room across town. Turned off my phone. Didn't answer any calls. Didn't speak to anyone. Not even when my voicemail filled up. Not even when Amber posted a photo online, wearing my ring. Hashtagged. #dream come true. It took me 3 days to face the world again. When I did, the truth hit me harder. No one had tried to stop it. Not my parents. Not the wedding planner. Not even Josh. They all played along, like I was just gone, like I didn't matter. When I finally got my voice back, I called my mother. She answered, sounding cold. "You embarrassed us," she said. "I embarrassed you?" I shouted. "She's your sister," she said. Calmly, "She was ready, you weren't." "What are you even talking about?" She said, "You ran. She said you were having doubts." "That's a lie." "She looked beautiful," Mom whispered. "You should be happy for her." Happy? They stole my life, and wore it like it belonged to them. I packed my bags that night. Left the city. Blocked them all. Family, friends, even Josh. I didn't want apologies. Didn't want explanations. Because nothing could make this okay. Nothing could make it make sense. Months passed. I started over. New town. New job. New name. I went by Ella now, short for no longer yours. But then, one morning, I saw an email in my inbox from Josh. Subject line, "I made a mistake." I stared at it. Heart pounding. And then I opened it. I opened the email. The subject line said, "I made a mistake." It was from Josh. The man who stood at the altar and married my sister. While I was dragged out of the church, I hadn't heard from him in 6 months. Not a text, not a call. Nothing. And now an email. I didn't know whether to scream or cry, but I clicked it. And read, "Emma, or should I say Ella? I don't know where to begin, but I need to tell you the truth. I should have stopped it. I should have asked questions. I should have believed in you. I let them talk me into the worst mistake of my life. Please, can we talk? Just once. I owe you that. I stared at the screen, my heart raced. What could he possibly say now? He watched Amber marry him in my dress, said nothing, did nothing. And now he owes me a talk? I should have deleted it, but I did in single quotes d. Instead, I typed back, 1 hour. 5th Street Cafe, you'll get one chance. Be honest. Or don't come. I hit send. Then stared at the wall. I didn't know if I was ready, but I needed answers. An hour later, I was at the cafe. I wore a plain black sweater. No makeup. No earrings. No effort. He didn't deserve that. I sat near the window, staring out, wondering if he'd even show. Then I saw him. Josh. Looking different. Tired. Thinner. He walked in, looked around, then spotted M. He came over slowly. Sat across from me, said nothing for a few seconds, then softly said, "You look good." I didn't reply. I just stared. Waiting. He looked down, then back up. "I didn't know what was happening," he said. "I thought you left." "That's what they told you?" I asked. He nodded. "Your mom, Amber, even the planner, they all said you ran away. That you couldn't go through with it." My voice cracked. "And you believe them?" He winced. "They showed me a note. Said it was from you." "A note?" He nodded. "It said you didn't want to marry me. That you were overwhelmed. That you were sorry." My mouth hung open. "That wasn't my handwriting," I said. "I know that now. But back then, I was confused, hurt, angry." "So you just married my sister?" "She was already wearing the dress," he said. "That doesn't make it right." I waited. "I kept thinking you'd come in. That someone would stop it, and no one did." "No," he whispered. "No one did." I stared at him. Heart pounding. "Why didn't you stop it, Josh?" He looked like he was about to cry. "Because part of me wanted to believe it was real." "What?" "I don't know," he said. I felt betrayed. And Amber, she was there. She was saying everything I needed to hear. Telling me you had doubts, that you were always comparing me to your ex. My hands curled into fists. "She's been in love with you since college," I said. "I know that now," he whispered. "And I let her manipulate me." I blinked. "You let her wear my dress." "I thought you gave it to her," he whispered. "I was stupid. You were more than stupid, I know." Then he dropped the bomb. "She's pregnant." My heart stopped. "What?" "She told me 2 weeks after the wedding." I stared at him. "She said it happened the night of the rehearsal dinner." My stomach turned. "You slept with her before the wedding?" His face turned red. "She said you were asleep. That you were exhausted. That you told her to keep M.A. company." I stood up. "I never told her that." "I know that now." I shook my head. Tears filled my eyes. "You didn't just break my heart, Josh, you erased me." He looked down. "I know I don't deserve forgiveness." "You don't, but I needed to say it. Needed to say sorry." "You married my sister," I said. "You let her lie, cheat, steal." He nodded. "I regret it every day." "You regret the baby too?" He paused. "No," he said. "Not him. My son isn't the mistake. I was the mistake." I turned to leave, but stopped. "Are you still with her?" He shook his head. "She left me 3 months ago." My jaw clenched. "She said I was obsessed with you. That I'd never love her the way I loved you." I laughed bitterly. "She's right." Then I walked away. That night, I lay awake, staring at the ceiling. Amber had messaged me too. While I was at the cafe, her email subject line said, "Be happy for me." I opened it. "Emma, you always had everything. The looks, the grades, the attention. I just wanted one thing, and I got it, for a while. Now that he's gone, I guess it doesn't matter. But maybe you should thank me. You were never meant to marry him. He was mine from the start. You just borrowed him. Now we're even. Move on." I did. I deleted it. Blocked her number. Then cried. Not because I missed them, but because I finally let it all go. A month later, I got a letter in the mail. No return address, but the handwriting was familiar. It was from my dad. We hadn't spoken since the wedding. He'd walked Amber down the aisle, stared at me with shame. In his eyes, he wrote, "Emma, I failed you." I should have stopped it, but I was scared. "Scared of your mother? Scared of the truth?" I knew Amber was lying. I saw the signs. But I let her do it. And I watched my real daughter get thrown away. I'm sorry. I don't expect forgiveness. But I hope one day we can talk. Love always, Dad, for the first time in a long time. I didn't feel anger, just sadness, because I missed him, and he knew he'd betrayed me. I folded the letter, put it in my drawer, didn't write back. But maybe one day, I would. I moved to another city, started a new job, got my own place, and every morning I looked in the mirror and saw someone stronger, someone who had been broken, but not destroyed. Amber didn't take my life, she just helped me see who never deserved to be in it. One day, while grocery shopping, I saw Josh. He looked older, worn out. He was alone, holding a small boy's hand. Our eyes met. He gave me a soft smile. I gave a nod. Then turned away. I didn't need closure anymore, had peace. And peace was better. People say betrayal changes you, right. It teaches you to protect your heart, to listen closer, to love yourself more, because in the end, the people who love you don't take your place, they stand beside you, and anyone who tries to steal your crown was never royalty to begin with. It had been a year, one full year since I was replaced at my own wedding, since Amber took my dress. My vows. My groom. And wore them like she earned them. But I had healed. Slowly. Painfully. But I had it, until the letter came. It was a plain white envelope. No return address. No handwriting, just one word printed neatly on the front. Emma. Not Ella. Not the name I had been using to protect my peace, but Emma. The girl I had to bury to survive. My hands trembled as I opened it. Inside was a single folded piece of paper. Typed, I need to see you. It's important. It's not about Josh. It's not about the baby. It's about the truth. Please, 1 hour. The bench at Mercer Park. I'll be waiting. Amber. I almost laughed. I almost burned it. But something inside me. That's some broken, stubborn part. Needed to know what she meant by truth. So I went. The park was mostly empty. Gray sky, cold wind. She sat on the bench, wearing a long coat. Her hair tied up, a paper coffee cup in her hand, walked over slowly. And sat down. Not close, not far, just enough to remind her she wasn't welcome. She looked at me, smiled weakly. You came. I didn't respond. She sighed. I'm not here to beg. Good, I said coldly. She hesitated, then said, I didn't think you'd forgive me. I didn't, but I need to tell you something. I waited. Josh isn't the father. She said. The world stopped moving. What? The baby. He's not Josh's. I blinked. You told him he was. I lied. To trap him? She nodded. Tears filled her eyes. I didn't know what else to do. Why are you telling me now? She swallowed hard. Because I'm dying. The air left my lungs. What? I have leukemia, she whispered. It's aggressive. It spread fast. I stared at her. Frozen. Why are you telling me this? She looked down. Because I don't want to die with this lie. And what lie is that? She took a deep breath. I didn't just steal your wedding. I made sure you couldn't stop it. I felt my chest tighten. What do you mean? I drugged your tea that night. My heart stopped. You what? I put a mild sedative in your drink. I just needed you to stay asleep. Long enough for me to get out with the dress. I stood up. Furious. Are you insane? Tears streamed down her face. I know. I know it was wrong. You could have hurt me. I didn't think about that. I wanted your life, just for one day. I backed away, but she reached out. I told Mom what I did. She knew. She knew everything. She helped me lie. I felt sick. And Dad? He didn't know. He believed what we told him. I couldn't breathe. You ruined me, I whispered. I know, she said. I destroyed everything you had. For nothing. And now, I have nothing left. I stood there. Shaking. Crying. Broken all over again. Then, I turned around. And walked away. I didn't go home. I went to the beach, stared at the waves, tried to feel something other than rage, but it clung to me like wet clothes. Days passed. I didn't tell anyone what she said. Not even my therapist. Not even the journal I write everything in. But one night, I found a picture of us as kids. Amber was holding my hand. Smiling. Before all of this. Before the poison. Before the betrayal. Before we stopped being sisters. And I cried. Because part of me still loved her, even if I hated what she became. A week later, she called from the hospital. Emma, she said softly, I don't have much time. I didn't call to ask for anything. I just wanted to say goodbye. I closed my eyes and whispered, Goodbye, Amber. She cried. I never deserved your love. No, I said, but you had it anyway. Then I hung up. And never spoke to her again. She died 3 days later. I didn't go to the funeral. I didn't send flowers, but I did light a candle. Alone. In my kitchen and whispered, I forgive you. Not for her, but for me. After she passed, I got another letter. This time, from her lawyer. She'd left me something, her diary, and a small box. Inside, the box was the necklace I wore as a child. The one I lost when I was 10. She had kept it. All these years. In her diary, she wrote, I wanted to be you, but I forgot how to be myself. I wore your smile like a mask, and lost who I was underneath. I'm sorry, Em. If there's another life after this, I hope we're sisters again, real sisters. who never hurt each other. Love, Amber. I closed the book, held the necklace, and cried. For everything we had and everything we lost. Life didn't go back to normal. Because there was no normal after that, but it moved forward. Slowly. Softly. One step at a time. Then one afternoon, I heard a knock at my door, opened it. And froze. It was a woman, holding a small boy. The boy looked exactly like Amber. Same eyes, same dimples. The woman smiled nervously. You're Emma? I nodded slowly. I'm Daniel's aunt. On his father's side. Amber, she left something for you. She handed me a folder, and inside, adoption papers. Amber had given me guardianship. I looked at the boy. He smiled at me. Hi. My heart cracked open. Hi, I whispered. He reached for my hand. Just like that. I wasn't alone anymore, now. Every morning, I packed Daniel's lunch. Walk him to school. Tell him stories about his sister I once had. The good parts, the funny parts, the kind parts, the parts that weren't poisoned by jealousy, because he deserves to know. She wasn't just the villain. She was broken, but she loved him, and maybe, in the end, she tried to fix at least one thing. Sometimes at night, I sit on the porch. Watch Daniel play with the cat, and I think, this wasn't the life I planned. It wasn't the wedding I imagined, but maybe it's the life I needed. Because from the ashes of betrayal came something pure, a second chance, a new beginning. A little boy with big eyes and a laugh like summer rain. I lost a sister, but gained a purpose. I lost a future, but found peace. I lost a wedding, but found a family. The mornings were quieter now. Daniel had been living with me for 3 months, and slowly, he was becoming mine. Not just in paperwork, but in heart. He started calling me Em. He didn't ask about his mom much, only once. Was she nice? I paused. Then said, sometimes. He nodded like he understood more than he should, and never asked again. Found a rhythm. Work in the mornings. Daniel in the evenings. Bedtime stories. Warm milk. Little socks on the heater. My life no longer belonged to me alone. It belonged to us. And strangely, that felt better than anything before. Then came the phone call from my mother. I didn't answer at first, but she kept calling. Until finally, I picked up. Her voice cracked. Emma. I didn't say anything. I'm sorry. Silence. So much silence. I know I failed you. Still, I stayed quiet. I didn't come to Amber's funeral, she whispered. I couldn't face what we did. What you did, I corrected. She sobbed. I want to see Daniel. No, please. You stood by while your daughter stole my life. I was wrong, too late. I lost 2 daughters, she said. That was your choice. Then, I hung up. The next day, I found a letter in Daniel's backpack, folded and tucked between his books. In neat handwriting. From my mother. Dear Daniel, I am your grandmother. I made some mistakes, but I hope one day we can meet. I love you even if you don't know me. Be kind, be strong, and listen to your Aunt Emma. She's the best person I know. Love, Grandma. I folded it, stared at it for a long time, then put it in a box for later. Maybe one day he'd read it himself, maybe not, but for now I was protecting him. Weeks passed, seasons changed. Daniel grew. He asked more questions. About where he came from. About who his dad was. I didn't know how to answer, because Amber never told me who the real father was, just that it wasn't Josh. One night, after Daniel was asleep, I went through the folder Amber left. In one corner, tucked deep, was a sealed envelope. On it, for Emma, when you're ready. I opened it. Inside was a photo. A man, dark hair, broad shoulders. And on the back, his name is Eli. He doesn't know. I was scared to tell him, but he's kind. If you ever want Daniel to know him, start here. I trust you. There was a phone number and an address. My fingers trembled. But something told me Daniel deserved the truth. It took me a week, but I called. A man answered. Hello? Hi, is this Eli? Yeah, who's this? My name's Emma. I don't think I know you. I'm calling about Amber. Silence, then softly, is she okay? She passed away. He went quiet. I'm sorry. She had a son. I didn't know. His name's Daniel. Another pause, longer this time. Is he mine? I hesitated. I think so. We met at a small diner 2 days later. Eli walked in, and my breath caught. Daniel looked just like him. That same eyes, that same nose, that same dimple in the left cheek. That he was calm, respectful, nervous. Told him everything. He didn't cry. He just listened. Quiet. Like he needed every word to settle before speaking. I want to meet him, he said, but only if it won't confuse him. He's smart, I said, and he deserves to know you. He nodded. Double quotes. Thank you for raising him. I didn't plan it, I said. Neither did I. He whispered. Daniel met him a week later. They played catch in the park, ate ice cream, watched ducks by the pond. Eli didn't push, didn't overwhelm. He just showed up. And Daniel smiled more than I'd seen in weeks. After that, Eli became part of our routine. Sundays at the park, movie nights once a month, slow, steady presence, not trying to take over, just wanting to know his son. And for the first time in years, I felt something new. Safe. That one rainy evening after Eli dropped Daniel off, he stayed on the porch. I meant what I said. He told me, "You're doing an amazing job." "Thank you," I said. Then he hesitated. "I never forgot Amber," he said, "but I never stopped wondering about you either." I looked at him confused. "We only met once," I said. "At that college party." He smiled. "You spilled punch on me." I laughed softly. "That was you?" He nodded. "You apologized 6 times. I remember thinking, God, she's kind." My cheeks warmed. "I didn't think you even noticed." "I did," he said. "I always did." The months that followed were simple. Peaceful. And full of tiny joys. Daniel turned 6, lost his first tooth, started drawing our family in crayon. Always with me. And Eli. Holding hands. Smiling. One night, Daniel said something that broke me. We were watching the movie. He looked up at me and asked, "Do moms come back from heaven?" "No," I said gently. "Then, can you be my real mom now?" Tears filled my eyes. I pulled him into my arms. "I already am." Eli moved to our neighborhood. Not into our home. Not yet. But close enough to be present, and respectful enough not to rush. He came for dinners. School plays. Doctor visits. And every time I saw them together, I realized something. This was what love looked like. Not grand. Not perfect. But honest. Earned. And steady. One Sunday afternoon, Eli and I sat on the porch. Daniel was napping inside. The wind was soft. Birds chirped lazily, and he reached over, took my hand. "I don't know how this happened," he said. "Me neither," I whispered. "But I don't want it to stop." He leaned closer. "I love you, Emma." I looked into his eyes, the eyes Daniel had, the eyes Amber used to lie to, and I said, "I love you too." We didn't rush into marriage, didn't plan a big ceremony. Just us. Daniel holding the rings. Eli as simple soup. Me in a soft blue dress, and vows written from the truth. "I wasn't your first," I told him at the altar, "but I want to be your forever." He kissed me. And Daniel shouted, "Ooh." Everyone laughed. After everything I lost, everything I endured, this moment felt like a miracle. A quiet one. No spotlight. No choir. Just real love, real healing, real family. And as we danced under string lights in our tiny backyard, I whispered to the stars, "She can't steal this. This one's mine." Marriage felt different this time, not because of the vows. Not because of the dress, but because there were no lies. No missing bride. No whispered betrayals behind closed doors. Just truth and peace. And quiet, warm love, the kind that doesn't need an audience. Eli and I didn't go on a big honeymoon. We took Daniel to a cabin in the mountains. 3 days. Just us. Snow on the trees. Hot chocolate by the fire. Daniel made snow angels while Eli taught him how to skip stones on a frozen lake. It was simple, and it was perfect, but real life came back fast. A week later, we returned home. Bills. Work. School forms. Appointments. But now, I didn't do it all alone. Eli was there, packing lunches, braiding hair on picture day, teaching Daniel to ride a bike without training wheels. Our little house felt full of laughter, full of light, full of second chances, until the knock came. One cold morning, a Saturday. I opened the door. And froze. It was Josh, standing on my porch. Holding flowers, looking like a ghost from another life. I didn't say a word, just stared. He swallowed. "Hi, Emma." I raised an eyebrow. "You have 30 seconds. He looked down. Then back at me. "I saw your wedding post. So, you look happy." "I am." He held out the flowers. I wanted to say I'm glad. I didn't take them. Instead, I crossed my arms. "What do you want, Josh?" He sighed. "My parents died last month, both in a car crash." I blinked. "I'm sorry." "I've been cleaning out their house," he said. "I found something." He reached into his coat, pulled out a folded letter. "From your dad." That stopped me. I took it. The paper was YELLOWED. Old. Written in pen. "Emma, if you're reading this, I never got the courage to send it. But I want you to know, I saw it all. That morning at the church, I knew something was wrong. Amber looked too calm. Your mother looked too proud. And you were missing. I knew they lied. I knew I failed you. And I never forgave myself. I'm sorry. You deserve better. I hope one day you'll find it. Love always." Tears blurred my eyes. I hadn't heard his voice in so long. But reading that, it felt like he was right there. I looked up at Josh. I didn't come to hurt you, he said. I just wanted to give you that. I nodded slowly. Then gently closed the door and didn't look back. That night, I read the letter again, 3 times, each word healing something inside me. Because for so long, I thought no one saw what happened. No one cared. But he did, and somehow, that mattered more than I expected. Daniel grew fast. By summer, he was reading full chapter books. Racing his bike through the neighborhood, telling jokes that barely made sense but made me laugh anyway. One evening, I found him on the porch. Holding my old wedding album. The one from before, from the day that never happened. I sat beside him. He looked up at me. This was supposed to be you and Josh? I nodded. He flipped the page. Why did Aunt Amber do that? To you? I paused. Then said, because she didn't know how to be happy with her own life. He nodded slowly. Do you miss her? Sometimes. Not always, but I said, yes, I miss who she could have been. He leaned his head on my shoulder. I'm glad I have you. I kissed his forehead. I'm glad I have you too. Later that week, Eli brought home a dog, a rescue, scruffy, tiny, full of energy. Daniel named her Rocket because she ran so fast. She knocked over chairs as she chewed everything, shoes, pencils, one of Eli's favorite socks. But we loved her. She filled the house with even more joy, more chaos, more love. We threw a barbecue in the backyard. That summer. Friends came. Neighbors. Kids with juice boxes and adults with lemon spritzers. Eli grilled burgers. I made my famous potato salad. Daniel sprayed everyone with a hose. It was loud. Messy. Beautiful. And I caught myself staring at all of it. The food. The people. The laughter. And I thought Amber would have hated this. Because none of it was stolen. It was earned. Built. Protected. Ours. I got an unexpected call that fall, from a lawyer. Apparently my mother had passed away. In her sleep. Heart failure, I felt. Nothing. Just quiet. He said she left something for me. A box. I agreed to pick it up. Curious. Not hopeful. The box was small. Wooden. Inside. A pearl necklace. Mine, from childhood. A letter, unopened, addressed to Amber, and one photo of me. At age 10. Smiling, her handwriting on the back. I never stopped loving you. I just didn't know how to love fairly. I sat there in my car, reading those words, and for the first time in years, I didn't cry. I just breathed, and drove home. To my real life, the one she never touched. Eli proposed again. Not with a ring, but with a question. One night after Daniel went to bed, he made tea. We sat in silence, and he asked, would you adopt me too? I laughed. Then he pulled out a paper, not a ring box, but adoption papers, for me. I want to be your husband legally, he said, but I also want to be your family completely. My eyes burned with tears. I signed it without hesitation. You always were. We updated Daniel's last name that year. To match ours. He beamed. Told his teacher proudly. I'm a real family now. I looked at him. And said, you always were. Years passed, and nothing extraordinary happened. We weren't rich. We didn't travel the world, but we made pancakes on Sundays. We danced in the kitchen. We watched the same movie 5 times because Daniel loved it. We played card games during storms. We made pillow forts. And for the first time in my life, I never wanted more. One night, I tucked Daniel into bed. He was 9 by then. He looked up and whispered, do you think Mom sees us from heaven? I think she does, even after what she did. Yes, I said softly, because love is messy, but it's still love. He nodded. Then I hope she knows I'm happy now. She does. I hope she knows you made it okay. I kissed his cheek. She knows. After he slept, I stood by the window, holding a cup of tea. Eli came up behind me, wrapped his arms around my waist. We looked out at the yard. The stars. Rocket asleep on the rug. Daniel dreaming upstairs. And I whispered, she tried to steal my life. But, in the end, she gave me a better one. Eli smiled and said, you won't write that in a card. I laughed. Nope, that one stays with us. Time passed quietly. Years flowed like gentle rain. Nothing dramatic. Nothing stolen. Just life. Real life. Hours. Daniel turned 10. We threw a big party. Balloons everywhere. Rocket wore a hat. Eli grilled. Daniel got a skateboard. I baked his favorite cake, vanilla, with rainbow sprinkles. He hugged us both. And whispered, you're the best parents ever. That night, as we cleaned up, I looked at Eli and said, can you believe where we started? He smiled. You were a storm back then. You were a stranger. And now, you're home. We were happy. Truly. But sometimes, the past doesn't stay buried. One afternoon, I got a letter from a woman named Carrie. She said she used to be Amber's friend. Real friend. Not like the ones who smiled in photos and gossiped behind closed doors. Carrie had something she wanted to give me. I almost ignored it, but curiosity won. We met at a small cafe acute. She was gentle. Mid-30s. Nervous. She slid a small notebook across the table, Amber's old journal. I kept it, Carrie said. She gave it to me the night before her wedding. She said, if anything ever went wrong, I should give this to you. My hands trembled. I took the journal. Black leather cover, single word on the front, call on mine. I opened it that night. And read. It wasn't full of evil. Or pride. It was full of fear. Confusion. Jealousy. Regret. Page 1. I hate how Emma shines. I hate how she gets noticed. I hate how she makes it look so easy. But I also love her. She's my sister. And sometimes I wish I was just more like her, not prettier, just more whole. Maybe that I wouldn't feel so broken. Page 23. I did it. I wore the dress. I said the vows. And when the music played, I smiled. But deep down, I knew I'd never be her. Josh didn't say it, but his eyes were empty. I was holding something that didn't belong to me. And now I don't know how to give it back. Page 47. Eli. He doesn't know. He never will. Maybe Daniel will never know either. But I hope, if Emma ever finds out, she forgives me for everything. Even this. I closed the journal. Sat in silence, not crying, not angry, just still. Amber had spent her whole life chasing love, trying to copy mine, and all she ever found was a reflection of someone she never became. I gave the journal to Eli. Let him read it. He held me after, for a long time, didn't say a word. He didn't need to. Years passed. Daniel grew taller, started middle school, got glasses, won a spelling bee, learned to swim. And one day, he asked me a question that broke me open. Mom, yes? If Amber was still alive, would she be here? I paused. Then said, no. Why? Because she never learned how to stay. He nodded slowly, but I'm glad you stayed. I'll always stay. We visited her grave that summer. Daniel brought flowers. Eli stood quietly beside me. The headstone was small. Simple. Amber Louise Carter. No grand words. No dates, etched in gold. Just silence. I kneeled down, brushed some dust away, and whispered, I'm okay now. Then stood up. And walked away. Life kept moving. We bought a new house. Bigger. Backyard. More room for Rocket to run. Daniel his own room. Eli turned the garage into an art studio. I opened a small bakery. It wasn't much, but it was mine. All mine. No lies. No shadows. Just sugar. Flour. And peace. Daniel started high school. Got taller than me. Told me he wanted to become a teacher, like someone who helps people figure out who they are. I smiled. You already help people, honey. He hugged me. Only because you helped me first. On my 40th birthday, Eli threw me a surprise party. All our friends, candles everywhere. Daniel made a toast. He stood up nervously. Held a tiny piece of paper, then said, Mom, you didn't choose me. But you kept me. And I think that's more important, because people can leave. But you stayed. So today I want to say thank you, for loving me, for raising me, for making this family out of broken pieces. You're the glue, and we love you. I cried. Everyone did. Even Rocket barked like she knew something big just happened. Later that night, Eli kissed me and said, You built this. I smiled through tears. We built it. He shook his head. No, you did. After everything. I leaned into him. And whispered, She tried to destroy me. But I learned how to rebuild. Some people wait their whole lives for a fairy tale. I had one once, but it wasn't real. It was stolen, worn by someone else. Then torn to pieces. But from those pieces I made a real life. Not perfect, but precious. And the best part? No one could ever take it again. The last entry in Amber's journal said this. If anyone finds this, I hope they know I was sorry. I hope they know I loved her. I hope they know I never wanted to become a villain. But once you lie, you start to disappear. And I disappeared. One lie at a time. I hope she lives, fully, for both of us. I closed the book for the last time. Put it in the attic. Let the past sleep. Because now, I lived out fully. Not for her. But for me. For Daniel, for Eli, for the peace we earned. And every time I see Daniel smile, I remember the day I was dragged out of that church, and I think, thank you, because if that never happened, I never would have found my real life.